Hello, Westminster. While Dr. Walker's with his family, I wanted to give a brief update, share some encouragement, and some ways that you can help during this time. First of all, I want to thank Westminster for just continuing to be a great church. You're continuing to do church well, even though we can't be face-to-face. I've been encouraged by how I've heard people reaching out to each other and connecting and praying together. The elders and the deacons want to particularly reach out to those who are vulnerable during this season. So over the next 10 days, they're going to be calling everyone 65 and older just to check in to see how you're doing, see if there's any needs that you have, and to pray with you. So if you receive a phone call, you're not in trouble, and we're not trying to sell you anything. They just want to check in and see how you're doing. I'd like to share a couple verses about what the Apostle Paul did when he was in a similar situation. He really longed to see his brothers and sisters in Rome, but he was prevented from doing so. And in Romans chapter 1, he writes, "I do not want you to be unaware that I have often intended to come to you, but thus far have been prevented." And then at the end of his letter in Romans chapter 15, he writes in verse 21, "But as it is written, those who have never been told of him will see, and those who had never heard will understand. This is the reason why I was so often hindered from coming to you." See, Paul saw past his challenges and looked for opportunities. And the challenges were real. Paul was being persecuted. He was being held back. But the conflicts he faced were outside of his control. And so instead of focusing on the challenges, he looked for the opportunities. And God opened up opportunities for him to preach the gospel and see people come to faith who otherwise wouldn't have had the opportunity to hear of Christ had he been where he wanted to be. In a similar way, many of us aren't where we want to be right now. We want to be able to meet together. We want to be able to meet in small groups and large groups. But instead of focusing on the challenges, I wonder what it would look like for us to follow the Lord's leading and ask, what opportunities is he providing? I think he's providing us at least 3 opportunities. One, to pray. We really do have the opportunity to slow down, to reflect more, and to pray. So I encourage you, pray for your neighbors, pray for your family, pray for your kids and your spouse, pray for your church, pray for our leaders, pray for our medical professionals. We have lots of doctors and nurses in this church, and they're going to be working long hours. Pray for God to give them strength and to protect their families. Pray for those who are living alone and don't have the help of a spouse and have to carry the burden alone. Pray for those who are vulnerable, that God would protect them, and that if they should get sick, that the Lord would draw them close to them himself and that they would trust in him. Second, look for ways to continue to encourage one another. Even if you're not up on the new technology and choose not to use Zoom or Google Hangouts, old technology works just fine. A phone call, simple things can go a long way to really show people that you care and that you want to connect. And so reach out to one another, pray together, find out if anyone has needs, and then do what you can to meet those needs. It's just a great opportunity to encourage one another. So you can pray, encourage, and third, help. If there are neighbors that need your help, consider offering to go shopping for them or to pick up medicine. Ask other church members if you can run errands for them. If you are not in the vulnerable group, we encourage you to call the church and put your name on a list of those who can help in practical ways by running errands or going shopping for other members. The deacons and the elders will be using that list when they discover needs from having talked to people on the phone. So in this time, we have the opportunity to really ask, Lord, what are you doing in the midst of this challenge? The Lord is always at work, and who knows how he may use us to grow his kingdom during this time.